Hi everyone. Wow, this lighting is crazy. Look at the sun, the way it's hitting and the shadows. But I wanted to get this video out, so I'm filming. And this is a Dior box. Let me explain. This is a bit of story time. I've got a pair of Dior sunglasses in here, which you may have seen in previous videos. And this pair of sunglasses is going to be leaving my collection. So I have decided to give these to my mom. These are the beautiful studded Dior sunglasses that I picked up in Italy a couple of years ago. And they just don't work for me as well as the other sunglasses that I own. And I think it's the silhouette. It's beautiful, it's simple, but the curvature on the bottom here isn't as flattering on me. And I think with my mom's frame, she will look fabulous in these. So I actually took a photo and I showed her and I asked her if she'd be interested in taking them off my hands, and she said yes, absolutely. But let me tell you what these sunglasses represent. And don't mind my clothes here. I'm going to go to Pilates soon, so I'm in my really, junky workout clothes. These sunglasses represent my 5 shopping mistakes. These are classic shopping mistakes that I hope you guys will be able to avoid in the future based on my learning experience. So I mentioned that I purchased these in Italy, right? Let me put them all back nicely, or I'll just leave it like this. I was traveling with my daughter at the time. It was our first mother-daughter trip together. I was so excited. We went into Dior, and I actually went to look at the Lady Dior, which I ultimately got, but not there, not in Italy, which would have been smarter because the prices in Italy for Dior is so much better than the States. But I went to go look at Lady Dior's, and again, this is not the one I bought there, but I ultimately bought this one. I'll just put it down for now. And at the time I was obsessed. You guys might be surprised, but I was obsessed with the mini Lady Dior in black patent leather with this stud detail, like the studding all over it. I thought it was phenomenal, extraordinary, different, eye-catching. And I tried it on and I played with it and I was like, oh my gosh, this bag is so super, super cool. But then, of course, in that split second, I also came to my senses and realized I'm not going to wear this bag. It's too blingy for me. It's too shiny. It's too everything. And even though the price is so, so good here in Italy, I'm going to leave it. And at that point, I felt like I had already wasted so much of the sales associate's time. So mistake number 1 that I made was I told myself I need to buy something, just purely out of guilt because I had spent so much time in the store and they were catering to me and bringing out the different Dior bags. And, we don't owe anyone anything. And as nice as it is to be able to purchase something so that the sales associate can meet their quotas or make commission for the day, it is their job to be there, and whether you are shopping there or not shopping there, they're still going to be at the store because that's their job for however many hours they need to be there. So that guilt is totally unnecessary and unproductive, and I wish I had stopped myself, because then I said, oh, let me look at some other things since I'm not getting the Lady Dior. And as soon as I saw these, I thought, well, this has the studding detail, and it's not a full bag. It's just a tiny little accessory, a little touch of the studs. And it's much cheaper than the Lady Dior. It's a smaller commitment, but I still get some Dior in my collection. So maybe. And so that was mistake number 2, looking for basically a poor substitute for the original item. Because look what happened. Couple years down the road, I wound up getting a Lady Dior anyway, because the sunglasses are not going to fill that, want. They're 2 totally different items. So not only did I feel guilty to the sales associate, which was mistake number 1, but then I felt like, oh, I might as well get something, kind of similar, giving me a little bit of the similar vibe as a substitute for the original item, which was mistake number 2. So yeah, hope you guys are learning from my mistakes, and do let me know in the comments below so far if you can relate to any of this and if you've experienced this yourself, so that I don't feel so bad. I've had some really, really good experiences at many luxury stores, but at Dior in Italy, I had a pretty unpleasant experience. I think because I was clearly a tourist. I also had a 9-year-old in tow. I wasn't dressed very nice. I think I was wearing like a backpack and I don't know, Like, I looked like I was going to the playground, you know? And I clearly didn't know what I wanted, so I was looking at a bunch of different things. So for a variety of reasons, the sales associates, whether it's merited or not, they weren't very nice to me. They were kind of snobby, they were looking me up and down, they were kind of ignoring me, and kind of giving me the vibe like, we know you're not going to buy anything anyway, so don't waste our time kind of thing. It wasn't very friendly. And I do think that even if a customer is not ready to buy that day, it is a sales associate's job to be like a brand ambassador for where they work and leave a very kind of positive impression. So I left with a pretty icky impression, even though I did purchase something. And that was mistake number 3. I felt like I had something to prove, which is so ridiculous. But I thought to myself, maybe because my daughter was there too, I thought, these sales associates are being rude to me because they think I'm not a serious buyer. Maybe they don't think I have the funds, or they don't think I know Dior or whatever, just because of my outward appearance today. So I'm going to prove to them, how silly is that? I'm going to prove to them, and I'm going to buy something. So that gave me the extra ridiculous nudge to go ahead and say, yep, I'll take these, which is so silly. And then of course it was reinforced because then the sales associate had a big smile on his face and he was like, oh, of course. And he was so like nice to me over a pair of sunglasses, which told me I'm being ridiculous, but then the wheels were already in motion. So I wound up taking these home. Why are we trying to prove something to anyone, especially when we're shopping? That is so silly and illogical. Mistake number 4 was, he said, oh, these are actually the last pair. And I was like, oh, and I kind of didn't like that because especially with sunglasses, you know, a lot of people touch them and try them on. And in that moment, you know, when something tells you deep inside, like, just don't do it and walk away. But I thought, well, I already spent so much time in here. I've wasted the sales associate's time. I feel guilty. I kind of want something Dior with some stud detail. There's that substitute mentality. And I kind of want to prove that I am going to buy something, all just going down this really silly rabbit hole. And so when they said this is the last one, instead of going, well, I don't really want the floor model, I said, yep, I will take them. Because I thought, well, what if I can't find this anymore? Again, ridiculous. It's not like this is the only one on the planet, but I thought, oh, it's so unique with the studding detail, and maybe it's all sold out because it's so popular, and that's why there's only one left. And again, I rationalized. Then, this is the last one. I told myself, I'm in Italy. The prices are so much better here. I don't want to go back to the US and pay so much more, so I might as well do it. Now, that is a huge mistake. And now I've learned from that experience, actually, because I've traveled abroad plenty of times since then. And I tell myself, unless I'm 1,000% sure, I'm definitely going to walk away when I'm shopping abroad, because you can't return something unless you're going back to the country like within 30 days. You can't return it. Selling it is a pain, and so you might just be stuck with something that you regret. And so what you thought was a good price because of, you know, the local prices being better or the conversion rate being in your favor might wind up actually looking like you just wasted your money. So those are 5 mistakes that I've made in the past. I'm not saying that I haven't made those mistakes here and there since then, and I'm also not saying that I'm never gonna make those mistakes again, but I am so acutely aware now. I do hope that this video has been helpful for you and just sort of thinking through what are some of the common pitfalls that you fall into. The other reason why I wanted to make this video is because 2 reasons actually. These are going to my mom, as I said, and I know that you guys really like to know what is leaving my collection as well as what's coming into my collection. So I almost always try to make a video announcing when something is leaving so you guys aren't surprised and you feel like something's missing. Sometimes you guys are like, wait, I didn't know you let that go. And I had already made a video, but you just missed the video. So I do try to update you guys as best as I can. And then the other reason is because this Lady Dior, which is coming out really funky here on camera because of the sunlight. This is such a beautiful color. It's the blush color. Again, it's not showing up accurately. It's the small size with the champagne gold hardware. It's the ABC version with the charms and everything. Look, this bag is gorgeous. However, I have had sort of a love-hate conflicted relationship with this bag from the get-go, if you guys have seen my previous videos, and I've literally been creating whiplash in my head because I can't make a decision. Really quick story. While I was thinking about whether or not I should let this go, and mainly it's just because I don't use it as much, and when I do use it, I don't find that much enjoyment out of it. But then again, I feel like my lifestyle, my life stage, and my preferences might evolve over the next few years, and maybe I'll prefer it as a top handle. Right now I wear it primarily as a crossbody bag. I'll show you the strap while I'm talking. But I started having these thoughts all by myself, not really announcing much. But then I feel like the universe hears our thoughts. And one of my subscribers, one of you guys, reached out to me on Instagram and said, I really love your Lady Dior bag, and I particularly love the color that you chose, and I would love to buy it from you if you're ever willing to let it go. And I was like, oh, how crazy. I can't believe someone like read my mind. Here are the charms. It's a really comfortable strap. And so I said, actually, I've been thinking about it, but I'm not ready. I'm definitely leaning more towards keeping it. So yeah, I'm just not ready. She was totally understanding and said to me, take your time, no rush, but I'm here if you ever change your mind. And that stuck with me for a few weeks, and I really kept thinking about it and coming back to it. So finally I decided, hey, if she's going to get much more enjoyment out of it, then might as well let it go. So long story short, this lovely subby who reached out to me, we went back and forth, and then she actually made an offer that was pretty fair. I would be losing a few $100s, which, you know, it's not great, but I'd still be recouping a lot of my money, and she would be saving about $1,000 off of current retail price because of the price increases, and if you factor in taxes. So I kind of thought like it's sort of a win-win. She gets a decent amount of savings and I get a decent amount back. But then she sent me the payment, but there were all kinds of like issues with PayPal. Payment didn't come through properly, at least not the full amount, and PayPal charged her, and she didn't, you know, expect to be charged. And so, to no fault of anyone, it became kind of messy. And I said to her, even though she was willing to send me payment in another way, I said to her, I don't know, I'm getting cold feet. I kind of take it as like a sign. I'm not really superstitious. Speaking of superstitious, Christian Dior was very, very superstitious, and that's why he put these charms, these like noisy, rattly charms on the bags, because he believed that they would ward off evil spirits. So isn't that interesting if you didn't know that story? So yeah, then I got cold feet, and I said, you know, maybe it's just not meant to be, because it was supposed to be a smooth transaction, and because the payment didn't work the way it was supposed to work, I was like, oh, so I pulled out, and she was totally understanding. And I promised her that if I were to officially decide to let this go once again, that she'd be the first to know, to be fair. But I'm very conflicted about this bag. I'm not in a rush to let it go, but I would love your thoughts, especially from those of you who know my entire handbag collection and what I have and what I don't have. And, you know, if you think it makes sense for me to keep it. I don't want to just sell it for the sake of selling it to get money back. I do know, just rationally from a financial standpoint, if I wait, I can recoup more money because of price increases. But for me, it's more about like opening up space. I don't like to hang on to a lot of things that are not being used. So maybe I should just use it more. I don't know. You see, I'm conflicted. But that is the latest update on Dior. The only 2 Dior items I actually own. Yes. So if I let them both go, then I have no Dior. Something to factor in. And happy to give these to my mom, very happy to give these to her. Still conflicted about this one. Those 5 mistakes that I stated earlier, hope they're a learning experience for me and for you guys. And yeah, let me know down below if you can relate to any of this, if you have any suggestions, thoughts, questions, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Now I'm gonna go run to Pilates. See y'all next time. Bye bye.